Imagine discovering that there exists a technique so powerful for reprogramming your mind that some therapists have been banned from using it. A technique that can resolve decades-old traumas in just a few sessions, that can eliminate phobias in minutes, and that can literally rewrite the memories that sabotage you every day. The name of this technique, Advanced Neurolinguistic Programming, or NLP, and it was developed in the 1970s by two geniuses who discovered how to hack the code of the human mind. Universal problem. Have you ever wondered why some people can overcome any obstacle while others remain stuck in the same self-destructive patterns for years? Why do some individuals transform trauma into strength, while others carry emotional wounds that never heal? The answer isn't in your willpower, it's not in your intelligence, and it's definitely not in yet another traditional therapy session talking about the same old problems. The answer lies in the software running in your mind, and most people don't even know this software exists, let alone how to reprogram it. Transformational promise. In the next few minutes, you'll discover why NLP was banned from various therapeutic institutions. The answer will shock you. The 3 brain-hacking techniques that therapists secretly use for instant results. How to reprogram traumatic memories in less than 20 minutes. The exact protocol that billionaires use to eliminate limiting beliefs. Why 95% of people will never have access to this information. This isn't just another empty motivational talk. This is applied neuroscience. We're going to dive deep into the backstage of the human mind, and you'll learn, first, the forbidden history of NLP and why it threatens the traditional therapeutic industry. Second, the 5 most powerful techniques you can use immediately. Third, real cases of transformations that challenge everything you believe is possible. Fourth, how to apply these techniques in your life today. Retention CTA. If you've always known there's something more powerful than just talking about problems, if you've always felt your mind is capable of much more than you've been told, then you need to watch until the end, because what you'll discover in the next few minutes could be the watershed between a life of limitations and a life of infinite possibilities. Get ready to discover why some call this the nuclear weapon of personal transformation. The forbidden history of NLP, the revolutionary discovery. It was 1975. 2 young researchers from the University of California, Richard Bandler and John Grinder, made a discovery that would forever change our understanding of the human mind. They weren't therapists, they weren't psychologists, they were hackers of the human mind. While other professionals spent years trying to understand why people had problems, Bandler and Grinder asked a different question. How do some therapists achieve extraordinary results while others fail completely? The secret of the masters. They spent months secretly observing the 3 most effective therapists in the world. Fritz Perls, Gestalt therapy; Virginia Satter, family therapy; Milton Erickson, clinical hypnosis. What they discovered was shocking. These masters used specific patterns of language and mental reprogramming techniques that were completely different from anything taught in universities. The controversy. When they published their findings, the reaction was brutal. The traditional therapeutic community viciously attacked NLP because it threatened the established business model. Traditional therapies, years of sessions, slow results. NLP, results in minutes or hours. There was political pressure. Institutions banned the teaching of these techniques. Some therapists were expelled from professional boards for using NLP. Why? Because it works too fast. The 3 secret techniques of the masters. Emotional anchoring. What it is, a way to program positive triggers in your mind. How it works. Identify a powerful emotional state, confidence, joy, determination. Relive that moment with all sensory details. At the peak of emotion, create a physical trigger. Clench your fist, touch your chest. Repeat 5 to 7 times until the trigger automatically activates the state. Sarah, a 34-year-old executive, had panic before presentations. In 15 minutes of anchoring, she programmed a confidence trigger. Result, promoted in 3 months. Memory reframing. The principle, your mind doesn't distinguish between real and imagined memory. The process, identify a limiting memory. Watch the memory as if it were a black and white movie. Turn down the volume, make the image smaller and more distant. Add a comedic soundtrack, circus music. Replace with an empowered version of the memory. Marcus, 28, was bullied at school for 10 years. He carried social trauma. In a 30-minute session, he reframed the memories. Today, he's a motivational speaker. Excellence modeling. The discovery, you can copy anyone's skills. How to do it. Identify someone who has the skill you want. Study their beliefs, mental strategies, and physiology. Install these patterns in your mind through detailed visualization. practice until it becomes automatic. Real case, David, an average salesman, modeled the company's #1 salesperson. He copied their beliefs about rejection, their approach strategies, even their body posture. Result, 300% increase in sales in 60 days. Why 95% of people will never have access. The status quo conspiracy. There's a reason why these techniques aren't taught in schools, don't appear in mainstream media, and why most therapists have never heard of them. They work too fast. Think about it. A $4 billion therapy industry depends on long, repeated sessions. Universities profit from 4 to 6 year psychology courses. The pharmaceutical industry sells $70 billion in antidepressants annually. The fear of autonomy. When you learn to reprogram your own mind, you no longer need years of therapy. You don't depend on medications. You don't need specialists to solve your problems. You become independent, and that scares a lot of people. The complexity barrier. Another reason, these techniques were deliberately complicated by some practitioners to maintain exclusivity. They created jargon, expensive certifications, courses costing thousands of dollars. The truth, the basic principles are simple enough for a child to understand. The silent revolution. Modern pioneers. While NLP was publicly attacked, something interesting was happening behind the scenes. CEOs of multinational companies began secretly hiring NLP coaches. Olympic athletes used anchoring techniques for performance. Military special forces applied modeling for training. Silicon Valley billionaires practiced reframing to overcome failures. Undeniable results. Tony Robbins transformed NLP into a personal development empire. Richard Branson uses NLP techniques to overcome dyslexia and build businesses. Oprah Winfrey applies reframing principles to transform trauma into power. The new era. Today, neuroscience is proving what NLP discovered 50 years ago. Neuroplasticity. The brain can be reprogrammed at any age. Memory reconsolidation. Memories can be altered when reactivated. Neurophysiological states. Emotions and physiology are directly connected. The moment of truth. You're at a unique moment in history. For the first time, these techniques are becoming accessible to ordinary people. Not through expensive courses or exclusive certifications, but through the power of democratized information. The question is, will you seize this opportunity or continue using last century's methods to solve 21st century problems? Because what I'm going to show you next could be the difference between a life of limitations and a life of infinite possibilities. Step 3, powerful conclusion. Transformational synthesis. The moment of decision. We've reached the end of this revealing journey, but in truth, this is just the beginning. You've just discovered the secrets that have been deliberately hidden from you for decades. Now you know why NLP was banned from traditional therapeutic circles. How 3 simple techniques can reprogram your mind in minutes. Why 95% of people will never have access to this information. How the most successful people in the world secretly use these brain hacks. The crossroads. You're now at a crossroads. 2 paths open before you. Path 1, the status quo. Return to traditional methods. Accept that change takes years. Continue depending on specialists. Maintain the limiting patterns that brought you here. Path 2, the personal revolution. Implement the techniques you just learned. Experience transformation in days, not years. Become the architect of your own mind. Join the silent elite that controls their results. The naked truth. The inconvenient truth is this. Most people who watch this video will do nothing with this information. They'll think interesting, maybe share it with a friend, and then return to old patterns. Why? Because real change requires action, and action requires courage. Strategic calls to action. Primary CTA, the first step. Today, right now, do this. Choose one technique that resonated most with you. Practice for 10 minutes before bed tonight. Document the experience in a notebook or phone. Why does this work? Because small action generates momentum, and momentum generates transformation. Secondary CTA, the secret community. If you want to go beyond the basics and truly master these techniques, I've created something special. The inner circle of mind hackers. Private community where I share advanced techniques not publicly revealed. Real case studies with documented results. Live mental reprogramming sessions. Direct access to ask personal questions. Link in description, but attention, I only accept 100 people per month. When it closes, it closes. Tertiary CTA, the legacy. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. Not for me, but because you have the power to plant a seed in someone's mind that could completely change that person's life trajectory. A single NLP technique can be the difference between a person living with phobia or overcoming their fears, someone staying in toxic relationships or finding true love, a professional stagnating in their career or achieving extraordinary success. The self-fulfilling prophecy. There's a prophecy about you that's being fulfilled at this very moment. It wasn't written by an oracle or seer. It was written by you through every thought you think, every belief you nurture, every pattern you repeat. The good news? Prophecies can be rewritten, and now you have the tools to do it. The true secret isn't the techniques I taught. The true secret is the belief that you can change. Because the moment you truly believe it's possible, your brain starts looking for ways to make it reality. And when that happens, when you stop being a victim of your circumstances and become the creator of your reality, that's when the real magic happens. I'll leave you with a question that will echo in your mind for the next few days. If you could have access to the same brain hacks that the most successful people in the world use in secret, but that have never been taught publicly, would you have the courage to use them? The answer to this question will determine whether the next 12 months will be just another year in your life or the year everything changed. The final invitation. I can't make this decision for you. No one can, but I can leave the door open. On the other side of that door is the version of you that always knew it was possible. The version that doesn't accept limitations. The version that uses science and strategy to create the life of your dreams. The question is, will you walk through that door? If you've made it this far, you're already different from most. That tells me everything I need to know about your potential. Don't waste it.